No issues. We shall start, I suppose, or we
I
should
think
wait.
let's start. I think slowly people will join. Normally લોકો કેવું 10-15 મિનિટ પછી join થતા હોય છે.
Yes, yes.
Correct.
Okay. So, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining today's session. My name is Harsh and I'm a strategic consultant at Velox Consultants. So before I'll start something, I want to share some statistics about like into SMEs. And the statistics is surveyed by Financial Express and want to share like in out of 13,970 responses from SMEs, 13% of response they claim growth in next 6 to 8 months. Again, so we have another 6 months to getting growth. 61% are looking for scaling down their business. So why scaling down this 61% business? Because of that's why you are the right person to attend this webinar today. And on the other hand, 13% of business might have to eventually shut down. Is a 13% in out of the India, and 7% organizations like thought like they are just thinking कि हम लोग हमारा business किसी और को दे देंगे. So now without taking more time and we were by using this support for the business growth by practical strategy or वो practical strategy हम लोग कैसे how we have to work by using this webinar. So I'll turn time over to Kashyap Pandya for further details about the Business Accelerator program.
Correct. Thank you, Harsh. Good morning, friends, and welcome to today's session, Business Accelerator program. So I think, friends, what we have designed is a 100-day do-it-yourself Business Accelerator program. Because of this COVID situation, a lot of businesses are now in a difficult times, and they are wondering what steps they need to take. So what we have tried to design here is a program for entrepreneurs to provide practical strategies to identify two things. One, growth opportunities, and two, how do you overcome challenges? So these are the two critical questions that most of the entrepreneurs are finding. And what we believe is that entrepreneurs are smart enough to find answers on their own. Okay, so our effort is to help them discover those answers. So what we are doing today is we are going to bring 21 key questions that may affect or that might be affecting your businesses, and then let's understand how do we find answer to those questions. So our effort is to help you discover those answers rather than giving you a prescriptive answer, because each business will have unique challenges. So I think there cannot be a generic answer to all the questions. So our effort today is throw some questions as triggers, to provoke certain thought process, and then let's explore what are the possible answers. And we have a panel of experts who will share their thought process about each of those possible answers, and then you can yourself can discover answers. And after the end of this session, we'll also share a detailed white paper with the possible action points for each of those questions, so that you can do, you can discover answers on your own. So this is basically not a prescriptive kind of a session. This is basically a very interactive, trigger driven session. So I think I'm sure we all will have it very, very interesting and engaging conversation today. Over to you, Harsh.
Thank you, Kashyap bhai. And now we'll take hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Yes. So thank you, Kashyap bhai. Now we'll take more knowledge from our expert. And without a good question, this is a good slide. Without a good question, a good answer has to no place to go. So for this, all the answers is given by our experts. And our first speaker is CA Abhishek Mittal. And he's a chartered accountant and the company secretary is by qualification. And he has over 8 years of experience in providing internal audit service, risk management, system analysis and design, cost reduction management, and financial re-engineering. So over to you, Abhishek bhai.
Thank you, Harsh and Kashyap, for giving this opportunity and a brief introduction about the work. So as Kashyap bhai said, as already mentioned, that whatever questions which we are going to discuss are going to be very much practical and very much be effective in the day-to-day business. So Harsh, I would request to go to the first question directly. Yeah. So have you defined department-wise KPIs based on the specific goals and targets to measure whether your business objectives are achieved or not. So we all have thought, हमने अपने businesses के बारे में कभी ना कभी हमेशा सोचा है कि मैं department wise KPI draw कर लूं, लेकिन इसमें जो सबसे ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम आता है it's to measure, कि मैं measure कैसे करूं परफॉर्मेंस को, और मैं एक ट्रांसपेरेंट और इफेक्टिव स्ट्रक्चर कैसे बनाऊं. सो पहले मैं इसमें एक ब्रीफ पॉइंट ये रखना चाहूंगा या बताना चाहूंगा अपने ऑडियंस को कि मैन्युफैक्चरिंग, ट्रेडिंग, सर्विस एंड प्रोडक्ट कंपनीज सबके लिए केपीआईज अलग अलग होते हैं. बिजनेस फंक्शंस, अकाउंट्स हैं, प्रोडक्शन है, मार्केटिंग है, सबके लिए केपीआई बनाए जा सकते हैं. एम्प्लॉय टू एम्प्लॉय केपीआई डिफर होने वाले हैं. ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में सीनियर एम्प्लॉयज के केपीआईज अलग होंगे, जूनियर एम्प्लॉयज के केपीआईज अलग होंगे, प्रेसिडेंट लेवल के केपीआईज अलग होंगे, इवन ओनर्स या मैनेजमेंट एम्प्लॉयज के लिए केपीआईज बन सकते हैं और बनाने चाहिए, और सबके लिए केपीआईज अलग अलग होंगे. लेट्स सपोज अकाउंट्स डिपार्टमेंट के केपीआई बनाना सबसे ज्यादा मुश्किल है, तो उसी पे बात करते हैं कि अकाउंट्स डिपार्टमेंट के क्या केपीआई हो सकते हैं. वन कुड बी लीगल डेडलाइंस, कि मेरे को पूरे साल भर में कोई पेनल्टी नहीं लगनी चाहिए. Am I preparing my monthly balance sheet and profit and loss with the whole ROI performance मैं हर महीने बना पा रहा हूँ at the defined time limit के अंदर के नहीं बना पा रहा हूँ. जो मेरा डेटर्स का और क्रेडिटर्स का पेमेंट का मैकेनिज्म है, भले वो मेरा बिजनेस पे डिपेंडेंट है, बट उसके अलावा जो 20% चीजें मेरे आउट ऑफ द स्कोप चली जाती हैं, भले मेरे को 90 डेज में पेमेंट आता है, लेकिन फिर भी 20% पेमेंट है जो 150 दिन के बाद या 120 दिन के बाद आता है, उसका रिकवरी मैकेनिज्म मैं अकाउंट्स डिपार्टमेंट से बनवा सकता हूँ कि नहीं बनवा सकता हूँ. और आफ्टर कोविड न्यू केपीआईज व्हिच कैन बी, कि मैं डेली बेसिस पे अपने एक्सपेंसेस को ट्रैक कर रहा हूँ कि नहीं कर रहा हूँ, क्या मुझे वो रिपोर्ट मिल रही है डेली रेवेन्यू प्लस डेली एक्सपेंसेस, जो खर्चे मेरे 30 दिन में होने वाले हैं उसको डिवाइड बाय 30 करके मैं मेजर कर रहा हूँ कि नहीं कर रहा हूँ. मैं कैश फ्लो फॉर नेक्स्ट 30 डेज या 15 डेज का मेजरमेंट करने लगा हूँ कि नहीं कर रहा हूँ. मैंने कॉस्ट सेविंग्स के मेजर्स ढूंढे हैं कि नहीं ढूंढे हैं थ्रू अकाउंट्स डिपार्टमेंट. सो दिस आर द सम ऑफ द केपीआईज which can be done, which can be calculated, which can be measured. और अगर आपको सही में इस स्ट्रक्चर को अपने केपीआईज को इम्प्लीमेंट करना है अपने ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में, तो आप पहले क्या काम कर सकते हैं कि कुछ सेक्शन ऑफ एम्प्लॉइज, कुछ लिमिटेड एम्प्लॉइज के लिए आप ये प्लान रेज कर सकते हैं, ताकि आपको भी समझ में आए कि हाउ एम्प्लॉइज आर टेकिंग. बट ये करना तो पड़ेगा, आज नहीं तो कल. रीजन बीइंग, भले आज बिजनेस कम है, केपीआईज की इतनी जरूरत महसूस नहीं होती है, एम्प्लॉइज नहीं आ रहे हैं, बट जैसे जैसे आप 3-4 महीने के अंदर जब बिजनेस के अंदर सेटअप करोगे अपने आप को, बिजनेस नॉर्मल हो जाएंगे, देन पीपल वुड फील द नीड टू मेक द वेरी प्रोफेशनल केपीआईज व्हिच आर वेरी मच इंपॉर्टेंट टू द एम्प्लॉइज ऑल्सो. मार्केटिंग डिपार्टमेंट की नई केपीआईज क्या हो सकते हैं? सेग्रीगेशन ऑफ द कस्टमर्स to the loyal customers, to the normal customers, to the not so loyal customers. क्या स्टॉक को सिर्फ डिस्काउंट करके ही बेचा जा सकता है, या स्टॉक पे मैं 6 महीना रोक के इंटरेस्ट बेयर करके am I able to sell the stock? So ये नई KPIs हो सकते हैं फॉर द मार्केटिंग डिपार्टमेंट. न्यू कस्टमर एक्विजिशन के लिए या न्यू कस्टमर रिलेशनशिप के KPIs हो सकते हैं फॉर द मार्केटिंग डिपार्टमेंट. प्रोडक्शन डिपार्टमेंट के लिए costing report is always the most important thing, daily costing report या wastage ratio. But the new KPIs which can be is the production and the labor. Since the labor is in shortage, तो मैंने मेरे प्रोडक्शन वाले लेबर को कैसे मैनेज कर रहे हैं, that could be one of the most important new KPIs for the next 3 months. So I hope this question this answer satisfies my questions. Next slides please, Harsh. So do you get the KPI of your company as the business summary dashboard on a daily basis to monitor and measure the progress of your company? इधर इस चीज को रखने का मतलब ये है, इधर इस चीज पे बात करने का मतलब ये है कि क्या हमारे जो बिजनेस ऑब्जेक्टिव्स हैं हमने डिफाइन किए हैं फॉर दिस ईयर. उस बिजनेस ऑब्जेक्टिव को जिसको मैंने डिफाइन किए, क्या उसके हिसाब से मैंने केपीआई बांधे हैं कि नहीं बांधे हैं. लेट्स सपोज मैं अगर एकदम प्रैक्टिकल अपनी कंपनी के बारे में बात करूं कि एज अ कंसल्टिंग कंपनी, व्हाट इज आवर न्यू बिजनेस ऑब्जेक्टिव? सो आवर न्यू बिजनेस ऑब्जेक्टिव इज टू manage the existing businesses with the practical cost reduction program and the data analysis and 10 more customer acquisitions. तो हमने उसके हिसाब से नए KPIs बनाए हैं. वैसे ही प्रोडक्शन कंपनीज के लिए नया KPI हो सकता है कि मैं इस साल कैपिटल लॉस ना करूं, ब्रेक इवन करूं. तो ब्रेक इवन के लिए मेरे पास क्या क्या तरीके हो सकते हैं, उसके हिसाब से मुझे KPI बनाना पड़ेगा. लेट्स सपोज जैसा हर्ष ने कहा कि भाई 6% ऑफ द कंपनीज आर सेइंग कि दे आर ऑन द ग्रोथ ट्रैक. तो ग्रोथ ट्रैक के लिए मेरे नए KPIs क्या होने चाहिए, मेरी बिजनेस ऑब्जेक्टिव्स के पास जो न्यू बिजनेस ऑब्जेक्टिव्स हैं उसके हिसाब से मुझे KPI बनाने पड़ेंगे. बिकॉज some companies are on the decline stage, some companies are on the growth stage, and some companies are on the break even stage. So depending on your new business objectives, your new parameters, every department function के कुछ KPIs को आपको चेंज करना पड़ेगा क्योंकि आपके बिजनेस ऑब्जेक्टिव्स चेंज हो चुके हैं. आप ऐसा नहीं कर सकते इस साल कि जो लास्ट ईयर आपका KPIs थे या बने हुए थे, you will have to realign according to the new objectives. लेट्स सपोज एक बहुत ही क्रिटिकल एग्जांपल देता हूं फाइनेंस का. लेट्स सपोज यू डू नॉट वांट टू डू द कैपिटल लॉस, सो हाउ यू आर मैनेजिंग योर फाइनेंस, वर्किंग कैपिटल और द डेट रेशियो और द न्यू डेट व्हिच यू आर टेकिंग, ताकि आपके ऊपर एडिशनल इंटरेस्ट बर्डन नहीं आए इवन इफ यू डू नॉट वांट टू डू एनी काइंड ऑफ कैपिटल लॉस. सो these are the new KPIs which can be formed in your company. Next slide, Harsh. This is again a very interesting question. Have we effectively evaluated the implications of the cost optimizations, cost optimization, and not just cost reduction by doing short-term and long-term cost benefit analysis without compromising on the product, service or the sales growth? आपको बहुत एक प्रैक्टिकल एग्जांपल देता हूं मैं. हमारे पास अप्रैल मई में लेबर थी, लेकिन बहुत जनों ने उनके साथ, बहुत फैक्ट्रीज और बहुत मैन्युफैक्चरर्स ने शॉर्ट टर्म विजन रख के शायद उनको उतने प्रोविजनल तरीके से, इतने अच्छे तरीके से लेबर्स का पेमेंट नहीं कर पाए ड्यू टू देयर कंपल्शन ऑल्सो. बट दे आर स्ट्रगलिंग नाउ टू अगेन rejuvenate their business or restart their business. Why? Because they had a short term vision और उन्हें एक्चुअल में एक साथ कॉस्ट रिडक्शन कर दिया. विदाउट डूइंग एनी स्ट्रेटेजिक कॉस्ट रिडक्शन दे हैव गॉन ऑन द कॉस्ट कटिंग. सो कॉस्ट कट करके आप अपने बिजनेस की शेल लाइफ को कम कर रहे हो, बढ़ा नहीं रहे हो. द कॉस्ट कटिंग शुड ऑलवेज बी अ लॉन्ग टर्म इन प्लान इन नेचर. कि बिजनेस अगर 100% पे भी रन करे, still you are able to manage the business with that minimized cost. So we need to think in the terms of cost optimization कि cost के सामने मेरी डिलीवरी या सर्विस ग्रोथ या प्रोडक्शन के अंदर मेरे को कोई भी परेशानी ना हो. वो कितना इफेक्टिवली किया जा सकता है टेक्नोलॉजी को लेके, सैलरी को इंसेंटिव मॉडल पे करके, लेबर्स को मोटिवेट करके, नॉन मॉनेटरी इंसेंटिव्स प्रोवाइड करके, या एज अ इफेक्टिव लीडरशिप आप उसको कितना कन्विंस कर सकते हैं इफेक्टिवली. दैट इज द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग. मैं एक बहुत सिंपल एग्जांपल देता हूं कॉस्ट ऑप्टिमाइजेशन का. हमारे पास दो कॉस्ट मेजरली होते हैं बिजनेसेस के अंदर, वेरिएबल कॉस्ट और फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट. वेरिएबल कॉस्ट के अंदर आता है रॉ मटेरियल, लेबर, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी, प्लांट मेंटेनेंस. फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट के अंदर आते हैं सैलरी, बैंक इंटरेस्ट, इंश्योरेंस कॉस्ट, अदर फिक्स्ड एक्सपेंसेस, इंश्योरेंसेस, अकाउंटिंग एक्सपेंसेस. पहले फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट के बारे में बात करते हैं. तो सब almost 70% of the fixed cost is covered in the salary and interest. So I think salary and interest, which are the major cost portion of the fixed cost, we can make it semi variable. How? Salary you can do with the incentive plan. कि आप उनकी सैलरी डिक्रीज करें 10%, 15% या 20% पे, और उसके साथ एक बहुत ही अच्छा इंसेंटिव प्लान रखें जिसमें उसको एक्चुअली में ग्रोथ करने का मौका मिले और उसको ग्रोथ मिले भी, ताकि उस हिसाब से आपने अपने पूरे कॉस्ट स्ट्रक्चर को सेमी वेरिएबल कर दिया. इंटरेस्ट कॉस्ट के लिए, बैंक इंटरेस्ट कॉस्ट के लिए ऑफ कोर्स 1-1.5% का तो फर्क आ चुका है, बट यू एंगेज विद द मल्टीपल बैंकर्स एंड ट्राई एंड सी कि हाउ यू कैन रिड्यूस द फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट. बहुत लोगों के पास LIC होती है, FDs होती हैं, उस पे लोन लेना चाहिए. सो यू समहाउ कैन reduce the interest cost by 5 to 7% of the total absolute amount. Variable cost है, raw material है, labor है, due to the supply chain disruption, China, every other thing, what we can do is find the alternatives of the raw material, or इलेक्ट्रिसिटी सेव करना है तो R&D करके हम विंड मिल और सोलार के अंदर लग सकते हैं, which could help us in the long run. Of course, it all involves R&D and the fixed capital, but in the longer run, it is more better than just to do the cost reduction rather than doing the cost optimization. तो सीधा कॉस्ट रिडक्शन करने से अच्छा है कि हम कॉस्ट ऑप्टिमाइजेशन करें. बहुत लोग मार्केटिंग एक्सपेंसेस को रिड्यूस कर रहे हैं. आई थिंक मार्केटिंग एक्सपेंसेस को अब सबसे ज्यादा करने की जरूरत है. क्यों करने की जरूरत है? क्योंकि वैसे कस्टमर एक्वायर करने का सबसे अच्छा टाइम है अगर आपके प्रोडक्ट में, आपके सर्विस में if it's a quality product or a quality service जो आप नहीं कर सकते थे आज तक, आप कर पाएंगे बहुत easily because every customer is ready to talk, ready to evaluate. They have become more open. So I think that has become more effective nowadays. Next slide, please. Again, this is the most interesting question. क्या हम डेटा एनालिटिक्स टूल्स को यूज कर रहे हैं टू मेक द राइट इन्फॉर्म्ड डिसीजन अबाउट द प्रोडक्ट डेवलपमेंट और द सेल्स एफर्ट्स बेस्ड ऑन द एक्सपेंसेस एंड रेवेन्यू ट्रेंड्स? इसमें मैं एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट बात आपको कहना चाहूंगा आज के टाइम पे कि जो एनालिसिस होता है वो हमको 3 चीज के बारे में बताता है. आज हमारा बिजनेस कहाँ पर है, किस तरफ जा रहा है, और अगर हमको इस बिजनेस को सही तरीके से ले जाना है तो किस तरीके से ले जाया जा सकता है. 3 बातें बताता है डेटा एनालिसिस. आज मेरा बिजनेस कैसा है, विच इज डिस्क्रिप्टिव. मेरा बिजनेस किस तरफ जा रहा है, प्रेडिक्ट कर पा रहा है कि मेरा बिजनेस किस तरफ जाएगा अगर मैं सेम तरीके से रन करूं तो. और मुझे अगर करेक्शन, विच इज प्रिस्क्रिप्टिव, अगर करेक्शन एक्शंस लेने हैं तो किस तरीके से मैं ले सकता हूं. वो फाइनेंशियल पे हो सकता है, कस्टमर पे हो सकता है, मार्केटिंग पे होता है, कस्टमर सेगमेंटेशन पे होता है, प्रोडक्ट्स के ऊपर होता है, प्राइसिंग स्ट्रेटेजीज के ऊपर होता है. तो हर चीज के लिए हमें डेटा एनालिसिस चाहिए होता है. अगर हम फाइनेंशियल रेशियोज के बारे में बात करें तो वर्किंग कैपिटल रेशियोज हैं, कैपिटल रेशियोज हैं, लिक्विडिटी रेशियोज हैं, सॉल्वेंसी रेशियोज हैं. कस्टमर के बारे में बात करें तो कस्टमर का लाइफ टाइम साइकिल वैल्यू है, चर्न रेट है, कितने कस्टमर्स आज भी मेरे साथ हैं, नेट प्रमोटर स्कोर कार्ड है, मार्केटिंग रिपोर्ट्स हैं कि मेरे को फिजिकल मीडिया से कितना ROI आ रहा है. पहली बात तो कुछ लोग कैलकुलेट भी नहीं करते हैं ROI. तो ROI फिजिकल मीडिया से कितना आ रहा है, सोशल मीडिया से क्या आ रहा है, मेरे CTR रेट्स क्या है, मेरा ईमेल मार्केटिंग का क्या जर्नी है, मैं अपने कस्टमर्स को कैसे बाइफरकेट करता हूँ. सो आई थिंक पहली बात तो डेटा कलेक्ट करना और उसको एक प्रोफेशनली ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के साथ एनालिसिस करवाना इज द फर्स्ट इम्पोर्टेंट जर्नी विच वी ऑल शुड टेक. कि मेरे कस्टमर्स किस टाइप के होने चाहिए, मेरे को किस टाइप के कस्टमर्स के साथ काम करना चाहिए. और आज की तारीख में सबको समझ में आ रहा है कि अगर मेरा कस्टमर वैल्यू एडेड है, वैल्यूएबल कस्टमर है, या जो कस्टमर क्वालिटी प्रोडक्ट सर्व करता है, आज उसने इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर भी बना के रखा है, और वो कस्टमर भले मेरे को पहले 3 महीने परेशान करेगा, बट इन द लॉन्गर टर्म it's the good customer which I am trying to achieve. So for having the right valuable customer in your company, I think data analytics is the utmost important thing which we all should be gathering about. Yes, Harsh, next question. Now this is a very practical situation which we all are facing in our day-to-day lives. कि comprehensive policy नहीं है कस्टमर, सप्लायर्स और एम्प्लॉइज को मैनेज करने के लिए पोस्ट कोविड. जैसा कि मैंने कहा और कश्यप जी ने भी कहा कि देयर इज अ यूनिक चैलेंज व्हिच इज बीइंग फेस्ड बाय एवरी बिजनेसमैन नाउअडेज. हर दिन बिजनेसेस चैलेंजेस बदल रहे हैं, चेंज हो रहे हैं. वी आर नॉट अंडरस्टैंडिंग, जो आज डिसीजन लिया था कल चेंज करना पड़ रहा है. बट what is the utmost important thing is कि अगर हमने 20-25 years या 10 साल या 5 साल हो गए हमारे बिजनेस को करते हुए, हमको हमारी लीडरशिप दिखाने का भी सबसे ज्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट टाइम है. आप गलत हो, सही हो, दैट इज नॉट इम्पोर्टेंट. आपको कम्युनिकेट करना इज द मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंट थिंग. इफ यू आर कम्युनिकेटिंग प्रॉपरली टू योर कस्टमर्स, टू योर वेंडर्स, टू योर एम्प्लॉइज, दैट इज द मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंट थिंग. अगर हम कम्युनिकेट ही नहीं कर रहे हैं वो ज्यादा खराब है रेदर देन आप कम्युनिकेट गलत कर रहे हैं कि सही कर रहे हैं. अब एम्प्लॉइज को भी उतना ही डर है जितना आपको डर है. वेंडर्स को भी उतना ही डर है जितना आपको डर है, कस्टमर्स को भी उतना ही डर है जितना आपको डर है. We all should support each other. We all should take help of each other. We all should collaborate with each other to give the confidence, to take the confidence and to run the business. And how we can do, एक practical example बताता हूँ. हम let's suppose customer से payment मांग रहे हैं. First we should identify our customers into 3 categories. कि किसके साथ हमको आगे business करना है, किसके साथ हमको सिर्फ जुड़े रहना है और थोड़ा थोड़ा business करना है, और जिसके साथ हमको business नहीं करना है. तो हमें जो पेमेंट मंगाना भी है अपने कस्टमर्स, जिनके साथ हमको बिजनेस नहीं करना है, हम उसके साथ थोड़ा स्ट्रिक्ट हो सकते हैं, ज्यादा डेली फॉलोअप्स कर सकते हैं. लेकिन जिनके साथ हमको आगे बिजनेस करना है, उनके साथ भी हमें धीरे धीरे करके अपने आप की सेल्स के मॉड्यूल को बढ़ाना चाहिए. अभी क्या कर रहे हैं लोग, शायद जिनके साथ बिजनेस कर रहे हैं उनसे पेमेंट मंगा रहे हैं, जिनके साथ बिजनेस नहीं करना है उनको नहीं छेड़ रहे हैं, क्योंकि लगता है कि उनसे बिजनेस चला जाएगा. But I think this is the most important time for a leadership quality, जहाँ पे हमको पता होना चाहिए कि हमको आगे बिजनेस कैसे करना है. अच्छा, हमारे पास ऐसे भी वेंडर्स हैं जिनको माल बेचने की जरूरत है लेकिन पैसे की जरूरत नहीं, तो हमको उन वेंडर्स को ढूंढना चाहिए और उनसे माल मंगवा सकते हैं अगर हमारे पास पैसे नहीं भी हैं तो. एम्प्लॉयज को कॉन्फिडेंस देना पड़ेगा कि बहुत सैलरी कट कर रहा हूँ, बट एट द एंड ऑफ द ईयर इफ यू डू द राइट वर्किंग, तो आपको जो इंसेंटिव मिलेगा वो आपकी सैलरी से ज्यादा होगा. और अगर हमारे रेवेन्यूज मेट होते हैं तो हम साल के अंत में कोई सैलरी कट नहीं करेंगे. दिस काइंड ऑफ कॉन्फिडेंस इफ गिवन टू एम्प्लॉयज, आई थिंक बिजनेस की सिचुएशन बहुत पॉजिटिव हो जाएगी. मैंने ऐसे भी बिजनेसेस देखे हैं जिन्होंने अभी लास्ट 15 दिन के अंदर जो सैलरीड क्लास के आदमियों को निकाला था उनको वापस बुलाया है. तो कहने का मतलब सिर्फ इतना है कि we all need to have a very right communication policy with our customers, suppliers and employees. क्योंकि अगर ये भी बहुत properly किया तो हमको business को smooth करने में ज्यादा टाइम नहीं लगेगा. Otherwise जिस दिन business normal भी हो जाएगा, we would have to waste lot of time to get the things right. Next slide, Harsh. Have you done scenario planning with the conservative, realistic and optimistic numbers and their variable impact on the profit and loss account or the balance sheet? एक बात मैं ये कहना चाहूंगा कि क्योंकि हम अपने प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस अकाउंट को या कैश फ्लो को बहुत प्रॉपर्ली नजरिए से नहीं देख रहे हैं, इसलिए शायद हम ज्यादा परेशान हैं. मेरी कुछ बिजनेस ओनर से बात हुई तो उन्होंने कहा कि भाई मई जून में तो हमारा बिजनेस खराब ही रहता था, शायद हम चला के भी लॉस करते थे, मेनी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग पीपल. तो उनका फाइन प्रिंट ऑफ रीडिंग ऑफ देयर प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस बैलेंस शीट इज सो नाइस कि बोले उससे एक साल पहले तो मैंने ज्यादा लॉस किया था, तो आई थिंक आई विल बी एबल टू मैनेज. ये तभी कर पाता है एज अ बिजनेसमैन जब उसको फाइनेंस की पकड़ हो, जब उसको अकाउंट्स की पकड़ हो. तो आई थिंक वी ऑल शुड कैश फ्लो और रेवेन्यूज को हमको 3 भाग में डिवाइड कर देना चाहिए, 3 ऑल्टरनेटिव्स में डिवाइड कर देना चाहिए. कि लेट्स सपोज मैं पिछले साल 100 रुपए का रेवेन्यू कर रहा था, तो बुरे से बुरा मैं 40 रुपए का रेवेन्यू अगर इस साल करता हूँ, रियलिस्टिक मैं जो एफर्ट्स करूंगा वो 60 रुपीज के लिए करूंगा, और ऑप्टिमिस्टिक 80 भी हो सकता है, 120 भी हो सकता है, डिपेंडिंग ऑन योर बिजनेस एंड योर साइज एंड हाउ डू यू आर अप्रोचिंग योर बिजनेस. तो हमको तीनों अप्रोच से लेके रेवेन्यू का प्लान और एक्सपेंसेस का प्लानिंग एक बार करना चाहिए फॉर फर्स्ट 3 months, फॉर द नेक्स्ट क्वार्टर एंड द अदर 2 quarters ऑल्सो. वैसे ही हमको कैश फ्लो का भी करना चाहिए कि क्या पता मुझे बिजनेस को रन करने के लिए अगर एक भी रुपया नहीं आता इन द कंजर्वेटिव मैनर, तो मैं कैसे बिजनेस चला पाऊंगा. अगर मेरे पास थोड़ा थोड़ा कैश फ्लो आता है, या मेरे को कितना डेट लेना पड़ेगा, ये सिनेरियो प्लानिंग किए बिना if you are jumping in your business, I think it would all depend on the right forecast. अगर आपका फोकस चल गया तो आपका बिजनेस चल जाएगा. But to be better prepared, to be better right decision maker, I think we all should have this scenario planning with regards to the revenue also and the cash flow also, and we should regularly plan it. ऐसा नहीं कि आज कर लिया तो 15 दिन बाद नहीं करना है, क्योंकि business have become so dynamic. Every day the strategies are also changing. I think we should regularly do this scenario planning with the revenue forecast and the cash flow. Yes, Harsh, we can go to the next slide.
is your company ready with the well-defined systems and process to the engage with the prospective strategic partners or the investors to explore growth opportunities? इसमें मैं दो बात कहना चाहूंगा. आज जो कंपनीज वर्क कर रही हैं जिनका विजन लॉन्ग टर्म भी है और बहुत प्रॉपर भी है, वही आज अच्छे से बिजनेस रन भी कर पा रहे हैं. बट उनमें से भी कुछ बिजनेसमैन ऐसा सोचते हैं कि प्रोसेसेस की अब जरूरत नहीं है, सिस्टम्स की आज जरूरत नहीं है, पहले बिजनेस करते हैं फिर सिस्टम्स एंड प्रोसेस डालेंगे. तो मैं उनको ये कहना चाहूंगा या वीक स्ट्रक्चर्ड बिजनेसेस को भी ये बताना चाहूंगा, जैसा हर्ष भी बता रहा था और इवन मेहुल भी शेयर करने वाला है कि बहुत सारे मर्जर्स और एक्विजिशंस होने वाले हैं आने वाले टाइम के अंदर. तो अगर हमको अपनी कंपनी को बेचना भी है, अगर वेल डिफाइंड सिस्टम्स एंड प्रोसेसेस होंगे बिजनेस के अंदर तो उसका वैल्यूएशन अच्छा मिलेगा. और अगर वेल डिफाइंड सिस्टम्स एंड प्रोसेसेस नहीं हुए तो आप वैल्यूएशन कमांड नहीं कर पाओगे. क्यों? क्योंकि डेटा नहीं होगा. डेटा होगा तो भी आप उसको प्रीमियम नहीं बाय कर पाओगे. लेट्स सपोज आपके पास आपकी सेल तो 50 करोड़ रुपए की थी, लेकिन अगर आपके पास प्रॉपर कस्टमर्स डेटा अगर है 5 इयर्स का, 10 इयर्स का, तो यू विल बी एबल टू कमांड अ प्राइस. अगर आपके उनके साथ रिलेशनशिप्स बहुत अच्छे रहे हैं तो आप कमांड कर पाओगे प्राइस. अगर आपकी कंपनी के अंदर टेक्नोलॉजी का सिस्टम्स और प्रोसेस बहुत अच्छा था, भले हमको बिजनेसेस को जो किसी के साथ जोड़ना है, बट वी विल बी एबल टू कमांड अ गुड प्राइस फॉर इट. तो आई थिंक सिस्टम्स एंड प्रोसेसेस बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी है, चाहे कोविड है या नहीं है. It gives the benefit. It's like having a family doctor in your home, whether you are giving a fixed fee to him every month, but it will keep the family very healthy over a period of 10 years or 5 years. कोई बड़ी बीमारी किसी दिन सरप्राइज नहीं करेगी. इसीलिए प्रोसेस और सिस्टम्स का होना बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी है. और हर कंपनी कैपिटल इसीलिए रेज करती है कि या तो एक्विजिशन करेगी या डेट कंसोलिडेशन करेगी या वर्किंग कैपिटल के लिए या ग्रोथ के लिए. सो वी ऑल नीड टू हैव दिस सिस्टम्स एंड प्रोसेस. एक बहुत ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट बात जो मैं इधर अपनी बात रखना चाहूंगा कि इवन वेल डिफाइंड पीपल डू नॉट हैव द राइट टेक्नोलॉजी एनेबलमेंट. मतलब टेक्नोलॉजी का जो प्रोसेस है, राइट फ्रॉम द कस्टमर एक्विजिशन टू द फाइनेंसेस, राइट फ्रॉम द कस्टमर्स to the customer service, to the procurement, to the production, सारे फैक्टर्स को अगर टेक्नोलॉजी एनेबल करना है और प्रोसेस एंड सिस्टम ड्रिवन करना है तो वो बहुत अच्छा टाइम है. क्योंकि फिजिकल प्रोसेसेस तो बने हुए हैं अच्छी कंपनीज के अंदर, बट टेक्नोलॉजी रिलेटेड प्रोसेसेस राइट फ्रॉम द प्रोक्योरमेंट टू द सर्विस और टू द डिलीवरी, जैसा अमेजोन और फ्लिपकार्ट करते हैं वो नहीं है. 5 साल बाद, अब तो 5 साल भी नहीं कह सकते, 2 साल बाद उन चीजों की नॉर्मल हो जाएंगी कि वो चीजें बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी हैं. तो आई होप कि मैंने जो बातें कही या जो क्वेश्चंस या आंसर्स आपको बताएं वो आपकी कंपनी के अंदर लागू कर पाएंगे. आप अपनी कंपनी को उस डायरेक्शन में लेके जाएं. हमारी सबसे यही इच्छा है कि भले वो कंसल्टेंट्स को से सलाह करें या ना करें, ये सब चीजें जरूरी हैं, ये सब चीज इंपॉर्टेंट है और आज नहीं तो कल इन चीजों का बेनिफिट आपको 10 टाइम्स मिलेगा ही मिलेगा. I rest, Harsh. I think
thank you Abhishek, such an informative session. Like आपने जैसे clearly बताया कि like supply chain, consumer behavior and the technology related process is very most important in the current like under post COVID business ethics. सेकेंड पार्ट की जैसे आपने बताया कि लाइक कंसल्टेंट्स अगर हायर करते हैं तो दे विल गेट स्ट्रक्चर एडवाइस. लाइक जैसे हम लोग बात कर रहे हैं ऑनलाइन तो सब कुछ मिल जाता है हमको, बट इफ यू वांट लाइक अ स्ट्रक्चर एंड like structurized growth, so I think for that they have to consult any consultants, if I'm not wrong. Okay, so thank you Abhishek again, and without taking more time I'll just invite you our next speaker, CA Mehul Shah, and he is a chartered accountant again, and he has also courses, he's also engineer as well, and he's a specialized, like he's handled various assignments during his professional career, like in the current year, including audits, financial and tax planning, structuring in the company law matters, the international taxations. So thank you Mehul bhai, please yeah.
Yep. Thanks Harsh. So
So again, Abhishek has put up some very good points as far as restructuring of business is concerned, or as far as cost management is concerned. So when we designed this program, me, Abhishek and Kashyap bhai, we collectively decided that Abhishek may focus more on the cost management part and the cash flow part. I may focus more on the taxation part, because that is one of the major cost, and saving of tax would of course save a lot of cost. And Kashyap bhai may rather focus more on the revenue part, growth part, and the branding part. So Harsh,
Sure.
if you can go for the first slide. So
Sure.
first topic would be, have you reworked the projected financial ratios and financial model of your company to measure the viability of a business to adjust the new normal? So, generally what we have observed in Surat as well as Baroda and major part of Gujarat is that only when we go for a new project loan, we would prepare, or a businessman would prepare a project report. But particularly in this COVID situation, what I would recommend is that everyone should have a good financial modeling of the next at least 2-3 years minimum, which can also serve as a good budgetary tool to analyze the risk associated with sensitivity analysis, or what even Abhishek explained, this scenario analysis, कि अगर aggressive scenario में जाते हैं तो क्या होता है. So I should have an Excel sheet कि जिसमें सिर्फ aggressive से मैं medium, mediocre, conservative scenario select करूँ, तो I should be able to comprehend the effect on my financials. So one, I would, as I said, go for a good financial model, and based on financial model, as Abhishek talked, that there will be a lot of merger and acquisitions, there will be a lot of collaborations. So when I'm even collaborating with some another company, or when I'm doing a merger, I should have my valuation ready, and that valuation can be made only once you have a projections of your financials. कि how do you see yourself in the next 1 year, 2 year, तो वो basis पे एक valuation निकल सकता है. So I would say financial modeling and valuation should be the new normal as far as your business is concerned. But that is one exercise which you need to do during this COVID situation. So that is one input. So Harsh, can we move to the next slide? One question which every business needs to ask is, do you have any tax liability or refund from the government pending? So giving refund is one of the major part of the economic reforms package which the government has given, 20 lakh crore. No doubt one may argue कि हम argue कर सकते हैं तो हमारा ही पैसा जो गवर्नमेंट के पास पड़ा है वो हमें सिर्फ जल्दी मिल रहा है. But if you imagine the hassle and the even sometimes harassment in granting the refund in the past, you will realize that this government has very much smoothened out the process of refund, and which is in majority of the cases directly credited to the bank account. So a mediation or the discretion on the part of the officer is very much reduced. You'll be surprised to know that after lockdown, I filed one of my clients' return just last Monday. The return was processed on Wednesday, and on Friday he got the refund credited into his bank account. So this is how fast and seamless the government is moving. So we need to analyze if some refund is blocked, whether it's income tax or GST. Secondly, government has come up with a very good decorated scheme called Vivad Se Vishwas scheme. So again, we need to ask ourselves whether for any year, any of the past year, is there any tax litigation pending? And if there is, I would say you can connect with me offline, and we can. And in many cases, there are instances wherein with the use of that scheme, we can get refund rather than paying tax in case of litigation. So that scheme is extended to 31st December now, and every business who is having any pending litigation should at least make a good computation for that scheme. So Vivad Se Vishwas scheme is my second input. Harsh, if you can move to the next question. Thanks. So Vivad Se Vishwas takes care of majorly the income tax part. But again, third input is every business should have a good GST health checkup, because it's just the third year of the implementation of GST. And when we started with GST, we already knew that next 3 years are going to be tough. We came up with demonetization, and afterwards we came up with GST. So all this, both these policies, even on the real estate front, we have RERA, which has no doubt regulated the market well. But in terms of regulation, our economy has lowered the speed of, or I would say velocity of money. कि पैसे जिस velocity से हैंड्स एक्सचेंज करते थे, वेलोसिटी कम हुई है. So, and that was expected right from 2016 to 2020. So now is a good time to get a pump start from here. And so I would recommend to do a GST health checkup right from making sure that your invoices format is right from making sure you have a proper board instigate on the wall of your entrance, to checking or making a reconciliation between your GST or 3B and your 2A and your actual purchase register. So this is a good time to do all those stuff. So I would say when we talk about 100 days acceleration program, every businesses should do a good health checkup of the past practices, and they should try to improve those practices for the future. Because again, GST is indirect taxes, but the problem with GST is at present you have a chance to recover the taxes from your customers. But supposingly if you have missed any interpretation और बाद में अगर डिमांड आती है तो दैट जीएसटी विल ईट अप योर प्रॉफिट, बिकॉज उस टाइम पे 1 साल के बाद शायद आप आपके कस्टमर के पास से वो पैसा एक्स्ट्रा जीएसटी का नहीं मंगवा सको, तो वो केस में आपको आपके पॉकेट में से जीएसटी भरना पड़ेगा, व्हिच वुड बी अ ह्यूज एक्चुअल लॉस और रेवेन्यू लॉस टू यू. सो दिस एक्सरसाइज इज अगेन आई वुड रिक्वेस्ट एवरीवन टू डू. नेक्स्ट पार्ट, हर्ष. Next is I've been hand-holding a lot of startups from last 3 to 4 years. We have done a lot of events. I run a co-working space for startups. So any new business idea, it in some sense goes through me, where I play a role as a mentor or where I play a role as a service provider. So any new businesses, if anyone is going to start, I would suggest first of all explore the new company formation section, which says कि कोई भी नई कंपनी जो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग सेक्टर में है उसमें टैक्स रेट 15% लगेगा subject to some condition. So if you are starting a new business into manufacturing, you should first explore this new section which is applicable to domestic company involved into manufacturing, जहाँ पे 15% rate of taxation है as compared to 25 or 22 which we have for normal company. Secondly, there is a very good scheme, Startup India scheme led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, which again has a lot of benefits. For example, when you're filing any government tender, you are exempted from the turnover condition or the exemption condition. There is also a provision where you can get your tax exempted. So you are required to pay nil tax for 3 years out of the first 7 years if you are eligible under the Startup India scheme. If you are an e-commerce operator, तो आपको Amazon से 70,000 की क्रेडिट मिलती है, Digital Ocean से 50,000 की क्रेडिट मिलती है. So that is again a huge cost saving because of the Startup India scheme. So software company or the service side company has a good benefit under the Startup India scheme. On the manufacturing side, even this economic reform package has something for MSMEs where you get a top-up loan without any collateral, where the government gives you assistance in filing the patent application or the trademark application at reduced cost or nil cost. So you should always try exploring those new government schemes. Next, Harsh. Now coming up to the technology part, we need to ask the question that are we using any collaborative tools and technology solutions to efficiently manage your business? So as we understand, जो individual task है वो work from home में possible है, but when we talk about any manufacturing or service oriented industry, there are a lot of assignments which are team oriented. And when it comes to team कि एक assignment पे 4 से ज़्यादा लोग काम करने वाले हैं, it becomes sometimes challenging to do an assignment as work from home. For example, if 5 people are to work on an Excel sheet, तो हो सकता है कि हर एक लोगों को अपना अपना काम खत्म करके ईमेल के थ्रू Excel sheet किसी और को पास ऑन करनी पड़ेगी, and बाकी के लोग will just have to wait, for the just has to wait in the queue until the other person gets the works completed. So when we talk about collaboration, instead of Excel sheet, you may go for Google spreadsheet, where even 4 to 5 people can work in a collaborative manner or a single assignment in a form of a spreadsheet. So similarly, in manufacturing industry, it becomes a more challenging part because service industry में तो कहीं ना कहीं we can use the help of technology. But in case of manufacturing industry, where you are required to work as a team, and the government norm says that we should work with a reduced staff or we should observe social distancing. So this is an area where, again, as a consultant or even as a businessman, we need to define a good SOP. We need to define a good process engineering that how we can accomplish the same production cycle or the same production capacity with a reduced staff or by re-engineering some of the processes. So collaborative environment is required. Next, Harsh. So this question is again connected to collaborative working. And have you implemented the necessary system and process to explore the work from home for selective employees of your company? So when I talk about work from home, I would say it is not just work from home, but it is more about practice management. So if I'm a professional, if I'm a CA, then I need to do a good, I need to have a good tool for online practice management. And as I need to reduce the inflow of client to my office, I also need to have a tool whereby I can, convey my client the status of my work. Because if my clients are conveyed of the status of work, तो हो सकता है कि वो ऑफिस नहीं आए when they know कि उनका work status कहाँ पे है. So I would divide the tool for work from home into 3 parts, and you as a businessman need to analyze कि आपका business कौन सी category में fall करता है. The first thing is communication management. So हो सकता है my business is such कि मुझे सिर्फ मेरे employees या team के साथ सिर्फ communication की जरूरत है. Otherwise, I do not need them apart from communication tools. So that is where you can use Zoom for video conferencing.
माजी पूरी और दे दो ना पेन को.
So first is communication management. Secondly, एक step आगे communication management से where we talk about task management. So when I talk about task management, we have Slack, we have Trello, so where we can do a more project-based work. So again, when we are talking about this 100 days acceleration program, we want you to work on the tools. We want you to explore. We want you to take our help to explore कि इसमें से कौन सा tools आपके लिए, आपके business के लिए viable है और needed है. And again, to explore the possibilities of getting the freeware tool, and if needed, only then subscribe for a premium tool as far as work from home is concerned. Third category, apart from task management, third category would be activity tracking. So next question I need to ask is, if task management या task का status जानने से काम हो जाएगा, then do I also need to track my employees' activity? Means, do I need to track the number of hours which are employed or deployed by my employees? So particularly, I have observed a lot of architects using Clockify or Time Doctor as tool. Lot of software developers जहाँ पे वो लोग client को billing भी number of hours के basis पे करते हैं. So they use this activity tracking tool. So communication management, task management, activity tracking. These are the 3 categories. If you can move to the next question, Harsh. The last thing, have you developed a strategic business plan to raise capital from private institutional investors to accelerate growth of your company? So, as Abhishek also said, there are going to be a lot of merger and acquisitions. There are going to be cases where businesses would diversify. For example, in Surat, we have, and even in Baroda, we have a lot of textile players diversifying into sanitizer, mask manufacturing, PPE kits. So those sort of diversification would be there. And when we talk about this business, we need to understand that a lot of these businesses would be short-lived. मतलब हो सकता है कि वैक्सीन आने के बाद maybe after 6 months or 1 year, the business of PPE kit would not would diminish as far as demand is concerned. So in this scenario, it is very much important to understand कि normal जो business में assumption लेते हैं that business is a going concern or indefinite number of years तक चलती रहेगी, that assumption may not be true. At the same time, people would want to diversify, so there would be businessmen who would like to invest money into this new COVID related businesses. So you need to make a good valuation, and you need to upload the valuation report and pitch deck to various platforms, and through the help of this platform you might try to discover new investors. So there are a lot of platforms available. I've been working very closely with some of these platforms where your project gets discovered to the investors from even Singapore and China. So that is where again you need to work if you are planning to have some sort of external funding in the form of private equity or seed funding. So acceleration program of 100 days, I feel you should always also try to prepare this valuation report and to get yourself registered on this platform, or to talk with your friends and family through which you would wish to have some sort of external funding. So this is how I would describe the some sort of few gigs or the activities which you should do in these 100 days, so that you are well prepared for the next acceleration or the next jump in the economy. So with this, Harsh, I think I would try to make up a balanced point in the last 15 minutes, and then I hand over it to you, Harsh. Back.
Thank you, Mehul. You, it's not like you, like all the participants, they invested time to getting a good informative session. And yes, I would like to thanks for sharing financial model and the government scheme. And the most thing, but the most important thing, like this is a good time to check like your GST health checkup. And yes, thanks, Mehul, for giving this such a wonderful session. I would like to invite our next speaker, Kashyap Pandya. So Kashyap Pandya is he's a founder of Syncer Ventures Private Limited, and he's a management consultant, and he already designed a few tools for like a K-Sale business planning framework, 9X pharmaceutical brand positioning metrics, and the K-Sale personal branding code. So thank you, Kashyap Bhai. I think we have a good speaker for getting a marketing and a branding for post-COVID session. Kashyap Bhai. Hello. Hello.
Yes, Harsh.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please. Sir,
yes. Thank you, Harsh. Very interesting session. So, friends, I think we talked about managing cash, where Abhishek shared about his thoughts about managing cash. Then Mehul was talking more on about saving cash, and now I'll be focusing more on about generating cash. So because as we all know, it only functions in business.
I think Kashyap Bhai has like. Hello, Kashyap Bhai. Yes, your voice is, you're not audible. Hello. Kashyap Bhai, you're not audible.
Hi, please.
Yes. Now. Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Is it audible now?
Yeah, audible now. Yes, please.
Fantastic. Can we go to the slide, please, Harsh?
Yes, sure.
So I think we have addressed, I think, around 14 questions. Okay, so now moving on. The next question is, do you feel the need to relook at your business model and revenue streams? I think this is one question that is, coming across everyone's mind, that am I doing it right? Because, for all these years, entrepreneurs and businessmen, they have their own way of doing business. But the current situation has completely questioned the way of doing business. It has questioned the very basics of the business model. So in current time, it is very important to revalidate your business model, and then relook at the revenue streams that you have. Now, what is a business model? So business model is very simple. It's basically how you what products you offer, or how you offer, what kind of target audience you are offering to, and how the product is sold. So basically, it's about creating a product, reaching out to the right customers, and selling it to them. So this is broadly a business model, okay? And each company will have a different business model. Manufacturing business is a separate business model. Services company will have different types of business model. Tech companies will have a different type of business model. So a lot of people will say, okay, oh, if I'm, I can revalidate or I can change my business model if I am a services company or if I am a tech company, because it's easier to do that. But if I am a manufacturing company, how do I change my business model? Because I create a certain particular product and it is not practical for me to change my offering overnight. Friends, business model is not just about changing your product or services. It is much more than that. Before we get into that, let's understand what is a business model. So, for example, the difference between Amazon and Alibaba business model, where Alibaba is a no inventory business model. If you see, let's say Uber business model, completely shared economy based business model. Now, if you see, a lot of such business models are emerging. Taxi sharing, co-working, which is office sharing, co-living, which is sharing a apartment with others, co-warehousing. So sharing is completely a different business model. In the technology world, we have always heard about the freemium business model. For example, Zoom app that we are using. So Zoom offers certain features free, but then they charge you premium for certain features. So that is a very popular freemium business model that is being used by most of the tech companies. Technology, software services providers, they prefer the subscription business model, where you end up paying them monthly subscription fee instead of paying a lump sum amount for the project. So there are different business models that are emerging. So the question is your business model still relevant? So manufacturing company needs to ask themselves, services company need to ask themselves, startup need to ask themselves. In fact, if you see the education industry, which is very, very difficult, and the industry that is not seeing drastic change for many, many decades, if not centuries, now they have completely transformed their business model. Oxford University announced that this academic year, they will be having the sessions only online. Just imagine a university like Oxford embracing the online education space in this way. And I think this is what drastically has changed. Now, you're forced to change your business model. You're forced to adapt to the new market surrounding. So you need to ask yourself, can I explore new markets if I cannot change my products? Can I explore export market? Can I explore different distribution models? Can I go e-commerce? Can I, if I'm focusing on B2B, can I explore B2C? Or if I'm focusing on B2C, can I also look into a B2B segment? Can I explore newer customer segments? Or, can I find newer application for my current existing products? So if you ask those questions, I am sure you'll figure out how do you monetize your product or services in the best possible way in the current scenarios. And there are a lot of interesting innovation, what we call business model disruptions, already there in the market. For example, software services company. Software services company, the typical business model is they acquire customers, they deliver projects, and they're getting paid. That is one very simple services model. But a lot of software services company, they create a product, and instead of selling it, as I mentioned earlier, they do a subscription model where the customers keep paying a smaller amount every month based on maybe a usage or a number of logins. Now that is a subscription model. Now there's another software company which is a completely different business model. They feel that their core is creating and delivering good quality project on time. So what they did was they completely outsourced their marketing. So now what they do is, instead of hunting your clients, they just collaborate with other software services company or other, tech marketeers who will source out projects for them, and they just deliver those projects. So they have, outsourced the completely marketing function because they feel that their core is software services delivery. So if you ask yourself, what are your critical core strength areas, then you can build and relook at your business model. And I think in today's time, because of the COVID, people are now more open to change. And I think that's the reason why we are now forced to look at growth in a very, very different way. So in a nutshell, if you see, you need to understand how you create value in your company, how you deliver value in that company, and how you capture that value in the company. If you do that, if you identify that we have value proposition, I'm sure you can come up with a newer, a better revised business and model and a revenue streams. Next question, please. So I just mentioned about value because, so the next question is your value proposition still relevant for your customers? Now, why still relevant? Because what we have seen is we all are talking about, new normal and, changing customer behavior. So is your value proposition still relevant for your customers? Are you still creating value for that your customers are ready to pay? You need to ask those questions. Now, here the fundamental question is, what is value? Is the transaction or the sales I'm doing is value? No. Value is basically a solution to a customer's problem, okay, or something that brings them joy. How do you create value? By offering faster, cheaper, better quality, convenience, customer experience, change in lifestyle. There are multiple ways to create value. But most important thing, you need to identify whether that value, can you monetize that value proposition? For example, if you see a lot of different value proposition offered by a lot of players, Uber offers convenience, okay? Recent, I think both Mehul and Abhishek are chartered accountants, and sometimes we discuss, a very, very simple app like Khata Book, okay, which is basically nothing but a personal ledger. Now it has got a huge valuation. Why? Because they offer certain specific simple value to millions of small businesses, that panwalas. So now you need to identify what is that value proposition of your company, and there are multiple examples of such value proposition. Mehul was talking about Slack and other, collaborative tools. All those collaborative tools offer value of being more productive. In fact, these days, a lot of hand sanitizers brands have come in the market. Okay, so for hand sanitizers, reaching out to customers through the right distribution model is a challenge for new players. So a lot of guys, what they are offering besides the product is a home delivery of kind of home hand sanitizer product. So if your office, because office requires a regular supply of hand sanitizer, so just like your water bottle wala, this company will deliver at your workplace a refill of hand sanitizers. So this is an additional customer service as a value proposition. So you need to understand that transaction is not a value, and we need to look at from customer's point of view. So I think at this point of time, time has come to look your business from the customer's point of view, and then find out whether what you are offering till now still has some value which can be monetized and grow your company. So I think value proposition, we need to look at very, very carefully. Next question, please. Yes. Have you effectively digitized your business to embrace the new normal? Friends, a recent research says that at least 40% of all businesses will die in next 10 years. 40% of all businesses within a decade, they will die if they don't figure out how to change their entire company to accommodate new technologies. I think this is very, very critical, and COVID kind of have accelerated. So I think maybe instead of 10 years, it could be 5-7 years. So it's very, very important to embrace digital transformation. And everyone is talking about digital transformation. And in the name of digital transformation, some people create a website and they feel, oh, now I'm digital. Some people will start doing those Facebook posts and they feel, oh, I'm doing something digital. Digital is much more than that. Okay. For example, in Surat, textile businesses, for them, they, very few have implemented SAP or other ERPs. But for them, WhatsApp is their SAP. They use WhatsApp like their complete communication business tool very, very effectively till now. But is it enough? A lot of guys are doing some stuff. Okay, most of the good companies or mid-sized companies, they have some kind of a technology solution already being implemented in their company, ERP and other, technology tools, primarily for internal content. But I think the real power of digital is when you implement customer-facing technology. So you need to ask yourself, can you improve customer experience using technology? Can you digitize every customer touch points? Can you connect all the key stakeholders using technology? Okay, for example, can I bring my distributors and customers on the tech platform so that I make the entire ordering process smooth and efficient? Okay, so I think these are the questions that you need to ask. Textile company, particularly in Surat, they lack kind of a technology adoption, as I mentioned earlier. Okay, WhatsApp is not the most effective way to use technology. So if a textile company, besides implementing an ERP, which is an internal control thing, can I develop a customer facing technology solution so that I can connect my distributors, connect my agents, wholesalers, even retailers on a tech platform where I can send my so-called textile catalogs to those guys electronically. I can book orders, they can track the delivery of their order, the payment can happen online. So I think the entire experience can be digital, and it has a lot of other advantages also, because once you have digitized your business, you generate a lot of data. And I think Abhishek also was mentioning about data analytics. Now, data analytics is possible unless you have right set of data. So I think digitization helps you do that. So there are multiple benefits. Data will give you better decision making, faster turnaround time. So friends, we need to remember one thing, that digital is way of life now. Next question, please. Yes. Are you well prepared to generate qualified leads as well as manage and acquire customers through your marketing efforts? Friends, everyone is saying, yeah, right now I don't have any business. Dhandha hi nahi hai. Okay, where are the customers? Nobody is, doing business. Yes, current times have put everyone in this kind of fix. But then, there's a cliche that says the customer is king. But for many, many years, a lot of businesses have taken this for granted. They have taken their customers for granted. And now I think you should ask yourself how to keep existing customers engaged. Ask yourself how to reach out to newer customers. I think these are the two critical questions we need to ask. How do you do that? For that, you need to have a clarity about what kind of customer segments you are addressing. So as I mentioned earlier, when you look at your business model, when you want to explore your revenue models, you also need to look at your customer segments. Are you catering to the right set of customer segments? Are you reaching out to the right market? So now I think it's time to expand that. Here, your customer analytics can help you in a lot of ways. And I'm sure customer analytics is always there with most of the businesses, because I think one thing that we have digitized is your billing and sales side, revenue side processes. So now we know exactly what kind of customers have, given what kind of business. We also know what kind of customers pay on time or not. We exactly know what kind of customers are giving us goods return. So I think there are a lot of parameters. Based on that, you can decide or you can identify the right customer segment, and you can then divide into the priority customer A, B, C categories based on the sales volume that they give, based on the payment terms, based on the goods return. You decide your criteria and then you identify them. Also very important is to keep them engaged. If you are into a B2B business, how you engage your customers? Have you informed or have you keep those customers in the loop that what kind of challenges they are facing and how you can help them? Webinar is maybe one thing to engage with your customers, but there are a lot of other ways you can reach out to the customers in difficult times, because this is the time when you are with your customers, they will remember, because customer relationship is very, very critical business function. And as we all say, it takes months to find a customers and few seconds to lose those customers. So I think we need to invest our time and energy in building right customer relationship and identify ways to reach out to them and expand it. Let me give you a B2C example, a typical consumer brand example, how they have expanded their customer base. So for example, we all know Cadbury chocolates. So I think maybe 20-30 years back, a chocolate was for kids. But if you see a company like Cadbury, how they added multiple customer segments over a period of time through very, very effective identification of the customer segment and connected to them using very, very, effective advertising communication. So if you see earlier the ads of, Cadbury, where, a girl dancing on a cricket ground with that theme called, Kuch Khas Hai Zindagi Mein. So basically they linked eating chocolate with celebration. They expanded from kids to the adults. So if you see slowly, today they talked about Kuch Meetha Hai. So they want to replace mithai with chocolates. Now again, from kids to adults, so now they are going to elderly audience also. If you see the current dark chocolate ad, where Aishwarya Rai is eating that dark chocolate and a young guy, coming and looking at the dark chocolate, and Aishwarya said, this is not for you. Why? Because dark chocolate is not for young kids. This is how they are differentiating the customer segment. That dark chocolate is for the adults and mature guys. You guys are bachas. If you see, there are different ways to identify and connect with your customers. And it's time that you make an active effort to do and reach out to the right customers, because without customers, there is no business. Next question, please. Yes. Have you managed to create the desired brand image in the market to take the leadership position? I think branding is something which is a very, very commonly used or abused words. Okay, we all say, yeah, branding karna hai, and in the name of branding, we just create a logo or maybe a good website and a brochure. Branding is much more than that. One recent survey says that 1/3 of world's wealth is located inside people's heads as brands. I think brand has immense values. If you talk about, brands like Coca-Cola or maybe Apple or other brands, the real value on their balance sheet is not just the factory and the products they have, but the brand that they have created has immense value, billions of dollars of value just for that brand. I think brand becomes a very, very important, component, if particularly in your B2C segment, but equally important if you're a B2B company also, because there's a misconception that hum to manufacturing company, we don't need to do branding. But friends, branding is required for all sort of business, because ultimately it's about connecting with your customers, and branding is all about taking that position in your customer's mind, a favorable position in your customer's mind, so that they do business with you and they keep doing business with you. And I think a lot of brands have already done it. So if you see the traditional textile industry in Surat, Garden Vareli, yes, I think that was Abhishek doing some branding. Okay, so so as we're talking, for example, Garden Vareli did a fantastic campaign many years back. Okay, Thumbs Up is a classic Indian brand. Okay, fighting all those heavyweight MNCs. Why? Because they've created a very, very clearly differentiated brand image. Thumbs Up is for macho man. It is for strong adults. Pepsi is for bacha. It's sweet drink. Okay, this is how they build a brand. This is how they create a brand image. This is how they create a brand personality. And there are multiple examples. Okay, Amul, very, very recent, there's a controversy about, Amul and the Twitter ad. But if you see, Amul has been using their branding very, very effectively for almost 4 decades now. Okay, B2B brands, for example, Intel Inside. Why would I need to know about a processor inside a computer? But still, and completely a B2B company has created a very, very strong brand called Intel, so that we pay premium for that. Okay, so we have very few people are actually seeing those processors. So I think it is equally important that even B2B companies invest in time branding. And also there is a misconception that branding is expensive. You need to spend money for branding. You need to spend on advertising. You need to do your TV ads and the full page Times of India ads for branding. Friends, it is not true. One, because of the digital media now, I think you can do a very, very cost-effective branding with targeted customer segment. Also, there are a lot of examples of companies using no money for advertising. Starbucks never advertise. For them, the experience they give in their coffee shop is their branding. And this is how they've grown and become, such a big reputed brand. Tesla, for that matter, okay, Tesla doesn't advertise. Why? They use PR, public relation, very, very effectively to build a stronger brand image. So the point is, it is not necessary that you need to invest a lot of time in branding. Yes, it is important to create the right strategy for branding. And I think the most effective way is to create your brand story, because marketing is not about the stuff that you make, but all about the stories that you tell. So I think if you have the clarity about, what kind of brand personality and brand image that you want to create, then you can build a very, very interesting and engaging story about your brand and connect with your customers. Next question, please. Are you measuring the effective return on marketing investment, ROMI? I am sure that very few people have even heard of this term called ROMI. We all talk about return on investment, ROI, and return on capital employed and all kind of ratios. But very few people will talk about ROMI. Why? Because, if you ask those agencies who are spending your money for branding and advertising, they'll say, how do I measure advertising ROI? I don't know. I'm putting a hoarding, but I don't know how do I give you those numbers and justify my investment. Friend, marketing is an investment, not a cost. And any investment, we need to know what is the return on that investment. So I think it is very, very important to identify whatever marketing activities that you're doing, whether you're getting the right result or not. And for that, there are multiple things that you need to do. One, you need to do first a brand audit, just like do the internal audit of your company. We first need to do your brand audit to understand where your brand stands in current market. Then you decide what kind of steps you need to do, to build that brand, and to create the position that you want in the market. And then you devise the certain strategies, as I mentioned earlier, and then you use your media effectively and reach out to your customers. Now, whatever marketing campaign you do, if you're spending 100 rupees for a marketing campaign, ensure that you set certain parameters so that you can actually link the result of the campaign with the money that you spend. Simple example is a digital marketing campaign, which is the most easiest way to measure return on marketing investment. If you're doing a Facebook campaign, if I'm spending 10,000 rupees on Facebook, I'll exactly know how many customers I've reached, because Facebook will give me that number. I'll exactly know how many people have clicked on it. So that is what kind of engagement I have through that campaign. So I have another parameters. Third parameter, they clicked, went to my website, they did some purchase. So there is something which I can track with each campaign. So I know exactly I've spent 10,000 rupees. I've reached out to 10 lakh people. Out of that, 1,000 people bought something. The value of that was 10 lakh rupees. My profit was 1 lakh rupees. So 10,000 investment gave me profit of 1 lakh rupees. So this kind of, parameters you need to set very, very clearly. And I think you can set this even for all kind of media, be it television, newspaper, outdoor. You need to have set parameters to measure your return on marketing investment, because friends, you can't build what you can't measure. So if you're talking about building a brand, you need to measure your return on marketing investment. Next question, please. Yes. The last and final question is, do you have a process to identify and evaluate growth opportunities? I think, friends, we have addressed multiple questions related to your businesses, be it internal processes, about cost, about taxation, about technology, about branding, marketing. By the same time, in today's difficult time, we all must remember one basic principle of business success, that every success story, every business success story is a tale of constant adaptation, revision, and change. I think we need to adapt to change. As Darwin said, it's survival of the fittest. So I think in today's difficult time, it is even more critical to be fit enough to be able to adapt to the new environment, to be able to change our way of doing business. Then only we will be able to survive and grow. So friends, don't waste this crisis. As Winston Churchill said, that never waste a good crisis. So I think it's time to bring change. It's time to take decisions. It's time to act, not just sit back. And I think people are more than ready to adapt to a new way of doing business, because we all are talking about new normal. So I think today is a way of doing business. Today's way of doing business is going to be very, very different. And also one very important thing is, we always say, yaar, hum to aise business karte the, and this is what our sustainable advantage was. Friends, sustainable advantage is dead. Everything is replicable. The only sustainable advantage that you can have over others is your agility, to act, is your ability to adopt. Otherwise, you will be left behind. So friends, finally, I'll only say that longevity in business is about being able to reinvent yourself or invent the future. And because most of us can't kind of invent the future, the only way or option available to us is time to reinvent ourselves. Friends, thank you so much. Over to you, Harsh.
Thank you, Kashyap bhai. We'll definitely think about the reinvent. And thanks for sharing such a good case studies with the use of the customer analytics, customer relationship management, customer engagement, and the ROMI. This is a base. Like, I think out of 100, only 90% know about what is ROMI. So thanks for sharing the ROMI. And please, can you share me more details on the ROMI, like how they have to create for the retail segment?
So I think, let's say, for example, retail segment, ROMI is very simple. For example, let's say if I'm a retailer, let's say in Vadodara, okay, I'm doing a particular campaign. Now for retailer, the easiest way to identify whether that campaign has worked or not is, have I managed to increase my footfalls? For example, in retail business, the number of footfalls is directly linked to the number of conversions. So for example, if I'm able to increase my footfalls by doing certain marketing activities, be it online, be it some contest, using some outdoor newspaper, whatever. So I'll know normal times, let's say I would have 100 walk-ins every month, every day. But I have done a very, very specific campaign targeting certain specific area for a certain specific retail shop in particular area. And then I've spent, let's say, 1 lakh rupees, and that has given me, instead of 100, for next 10 to 15 days, my average customer footfall is increased from 100 to, let's say, 175.
Okay.
Now, those additional 75 footfalls have given me certain incremental sales. Now, then I can link that, profit from that incremental sale to the money that I invested to generate that profit. So I think it is easier to, connect. I think we need to be, most important thing is to have a clarity about what exactly we are doing. I think a lot of times we do branding campaign, we do advertising campaign for all sorts of wrong reasons. Okay, sometimes just to fulfill the entrepreneurs or the promoter's own wish. So I think branding, and as I said, it's an investment. So just do exactly the way you do other investment, and I'm sure you can find your ROI.
Okay, thank you, Kashyap bhai. And that's open for the question. So I'll invite you if anyone have a question.
I think, Harsh, we are already running late, and we all have to join also. So I think we can, wrap up a little early.
Kashyap, I would say that we should have a very short intro of a few audience and the challenges, what challenges they are facing in their business. If we can take 2 or 3 audience to answer.
Yes.
Sure. Hello.
Yeah, Harsh, you can invite a couple of people from the audience.
Yeah, already invited. Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, Nehal bhai.
Hi.
Yeah, please.
Hello.
Hello. Yes, you're audible. Please share your
Hello.
Hello. Yes.
Are you guys able to hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. So I think I was there in last session as well. So basically, I will not give in much detail about my intro. I will ask a couple of questions which I need to ask. Okay. So basically, I am a part of one software service-based company. We are based in Pune. Okay. So my main question is, we guys are all aware about what all things are discussed, like to design the KPIs and how it is more important, and mainly branding image of your own company. But when we are working with clients, sometimes what happens is, due to unexpectedly large number of let's say couple of more clients came in, then we we keep a pause on our own let's say kind of digital marketing sometimes, or our own branding, because we have to deliver it to someone else. So that is one key one thing which we are facing a lot. We are trying to we are trying to allocate a dedicated resource for ourselves. So that is a bit that is happening, and we are improving on that scale. But if you have some suggestions, like where how we can able to improve more on that part.
So I think I'll take this question. I think, Snehal, this is a good thing to have,
Yeah.
that you have a lot of clients and a challenge in delivering that. I think it's every business
Of
would
course,
want
it's a good problem
scenario
to have.
in life. Absolutely. So
Mhm.
it's a good problem to have. And I think you can explore a lot of options here. So I think one straightforward thing
Mhm.
is, to be very, very frank and open to those customer leads. Because as we all know, and as Narayan
Right,
Murthy famously said, that under promise and over deliver. So, I
right,
think
right.
that is the way to grow. So I think instead of, promising unreasonable timeline to those new customers and messing up those projects, it is very important first to be
Indeed.
very, very frank and open to those guys. Because if the customers
Mhm.
are in a hurry, and if you give them wrong,
Mhm.
false promises, they will, you will lose that customers and you lose your reputation. So one is the
Right.
be open with those customers. Secondly, you need to
Mhm.
ask yourself, can I, outsource some of the tasks that, right now I am, getting, and then deliver it, so for example, as you said, you may be on short on your currently internal resources, your employees, but then there are some parts of the projects which can be outsourced, supervised by couple of key guys from your team, and then you can deliver as per your company's quality standards. So I think that could be one way, because it is sometimes not practical to hire people just because you got a couple of new projects, because what if
Exactly.
those projects doesn't come up in 6 months, so then you're taken a
Right.
fixed burden. So I think that way, in fact, a lot of software companies are using these. They use other software companies. They use, I would not advise freelancers for this, because freelancers are sometimes tricky, because ultimately your business reputation depends on the freelancers delivery. But there are a lot of boutique software firms with whom you can collaborate, because everyone is looking for business. So ultimately, it's not important whose client it is. As long as I am being paid for it. So I am sure you can, find
Right,
right
right,
set
right.
technology partners, and there are a lot of guys who are doing it. In fact, I was just mentioning in my talks, Nihal, that there is a Pune-based company. Now,
Yeah.
they are a pure play software product company, but what they do is they don't do marketing at all. They
Mhm.
don't have direct customers at all. It's a
Right.
very, very successful company based out of Pune, a very, very
Mhm.
small team, okay, but doing amazing business. Why?
Mhm.
Because they develop products, they have partners across the globe in multiple locations across, US, Europe, and Australia. And then those guys, those
Mhm.
partners market or sell their products and services to their customers. These guys just do white labeling and deliver those products. Now, this is a very, very interesting way to actually focus on your core competence, because as a smaller boutique company based out of, let's say, in Pune or Surat or other parts of this country, you may not have those access to those new markets. So you need to find those ways. So, if you can outsource the marketing part, I am sure you can
Right.
outsource the technology delivery part. So,
Yes, yes,
yeah,
Kashyap.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for, yeah, I'm ready
Yeah.
now.
Is there any question from the audience? I think Kashyap bhai, we'll wrap up the question and maybe a session.
Yes, I think it's already one now. So I
Yes,
think
yes, exactly. But I have one question. Can I?
please.
Yes, sir. Like there are a lot of FMCGs is going on right now, or they are planning to cut off the distribution network. So how this like just a Bata or the other, because during the COVID pandemic, so wahan pe like there are many people are going to the modern retail and the retail. They only prefer on the retail and modern retail, and the FMCGs is planning to share the like a B2B model again. They don't want to go like business to consumer. So according to you, sir, how this model will gonna work in future after this e-commerce is also going on? So is distribution channel and the stockist and super stockist is going to down, or directly company is giving some good margin to the retail, and then customer will get more good pricing strategy? So according to sir, please can you share like two different
Correct.
the pricing strategy
Yeah.
and the
So correct. So I think distribution is the most critical component and sometimes ignored, especially for consumer brands. I think you may have a great brand, but unless you crack the distribution right, your brand will not grow. Now, broadly, if you see, there are three ways to distribute your product. One is the traditional distribution model of those the super stockists to wholesalers, dealers, retailers. That's the
yes.
one traditional model. Most of the FMCG brands use that.
Yeah.
Then this is the modern trade, where you reach out to those big bazaars of the world, those retail chains. There's a modern trade. And third is the e-commerce.
Yep.
Okay. But if you see right now, okay, forget India. Let's talk about US, which is a much more evolved e-commerce market compared to India. Okay. So Amazon is hardly 3% of retail sales of US market. And we consider Amazon is a huge giant company with, $1.5 trillion valuation. Okay. Recent valuation. Okay. Now still they have minuscule percentage of the total business. So if you combine both in India, the e-commerce business as well as modern trade business, okay, which people are talk about and which is very easy to manage. For e-commerce, you just have to sit in your office and do, posting on those social media websites and e-commerce platforms. It's an easier way. The reach is always limited. The numbers are very, very limited compared to the traditional business. That's one. It depends on what kind of business you are, by the way. Two, modern trade sounds very, very fancy and very glamorous because it's good to have your product in, let's say, a big bazaar or a shopper's stop if you're a fashion brand. But then it's very difficult to crack those modern trade business because unless you're an established brand, it's a chicken and situation, chicken and egg. If you're an established brand, then only they'll accept you. And you cannot be an established brand unless you're sold in those places. Okay, so that's a very, very difficult, trade-off always as far as the modern trade is concerned. And still, modern trade is again less than 10% of Indian retail business.
Yeah.
I think most of the big FMCG companies, they cannot ignore the traditional general trade business because I think, that is something which you cannot substitute. But if you're a niche player, so as I said earlier, that it depends, your distribution strategy depends on two things. One, what is your offering? And two, what is your vision as a company? Okay, so if you're a niche product with focus on certain specific set of market, then your distribution may depend on e-commerce and a modern trade. But then if you want to build a FMCG brand, you cannot simply ignore general trade.
Okay. Thank you, Kashyap bhai. Thank you, Mehul bhai, and thank you, Abhishek bhai. And I hope we have to conclude the session.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
So
thank you so much,
you
friends. Thanks, Harsh.
Yep.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Bye.